This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Hey, this is Brian Peña. I always join the Vito podcast, the best podcast in the United States.
And welcome to the latest, the freshest edition of Tigers Talk with Chirco and Company. I am your host, Vito Geronimo Chirco, along with my usual sidekick and broadcast partner in fun. That is Doc from Doc and Jack on this pre-Christmas edition of Tigers Talk with Chirco and Company. Next week's will be coming out, the day after, December 26th, and I'll be busy, you'll be busy, we won't even be in studio for that recording next week, but I do plan on doing a recording separately with a new recorder that you did provide to me, an early Christmas gift from Santa, from Ho Ho, and thank you for that, Mr. Ho Ho, as in John. And how are you doing?
No problem. I recall that last week you had said, we don't typically exchange presents. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to give you a bonus because you're not worth it. But I said, you know what? He's worked hard. He puts up with me. He's learning a lot.
Putting up with you is a challenge, too.
And I said, you know what? The guy's doing great work. He's going to go out and interview people. So why not make the job for him as easy as possible? So, of course, got you a new recorder so you can set up with your crew. And so that I know that you can do less work. Because I know journalists, especially in 2018, don't want to be doing all this kind of work, logging microphones back and forth. So for those that don't know, I got Vito a Tascam that can support 2 microphones. Everybody can sit comfortably, have a good old conversation, and look for Vito in the coming weeks to have extended conversations with the crew, with people that he enjoys talking to, with other media members, and stay tuned, maybe some more media dignitaries will show up on our airwaves. So this week's Tigers Talk is jam-packed. What do we got this week?
Well, we have the pleasure of being joined by Brian Peña. Again, I think it'll be his third time on these airwaves on Tigers Talk. So always a pleasure when we get him on. I would say about a couple of times a year we get him on here on Tigers Talk. John?
He's so freshly coined this podcast, the best podcast in the United States. And Brian Peña this season started off with the Tigers in the minor leagues, and then he transitioned into coaching where he had relative success pretty quickly. And good for Brian Peña, and now he's making his way through the organization. What's he up to now?
Well, he led the Gulf Coast League Tigers West. There's 2 Gulf Coast League Tigers teams, East and West. He led the West team to a league championship in his only year as coach of that team. And his first year as a baseball coach. Coached these guys up. They won a championship. They went 37-18. And now Mr. Brian Peña will be moving on to short season A-ball, the short season A-ball affiliate of the Detroit Tigers at Connecticut, which are the Connecticut Tigers.
What I like about Brian Peña is his passion. I think he has a natural desire as a catcher to be a leader. I think that he can relate to the players, and being that he's just been a part of a couple organizations and a couple of great managers, I do believe that he's going to have a great chance for success, and that's what the Tigers need. They need to start with the minor leagues and establish definitely a core value in the minor leagues, because a lot of the talent, a lot of the things that people are paying attention to, because obviously when you hear the signings, you realize, okay, they're taking reaches, they're taking chances at the big club to try and put together a roster as affordably as possible, but there's a lot of young talent that people are paying attention to, and they got to be coached up. So who is in charge of these young cats in the minors, whether it be AA, AAA, Single A, and these other minor league organizations that are affiliated with the Tigers, it's very, very important. So I'm happy that Brian Peña is going to be affiliated with the Tigers, and I like the fact that he's a contact that you can even message and say, hey, congratulations. Would you like to come on the latest edition of Tigers Talk? And he responds. That's always a great thing, and you fostered a relationship, so that's good.
I fostered some sort of a relationship. At least one person likes me out there that played for the Tigers at one point.
And there's a chance if he has a local residence, maybe in Royal Oak, maybe he's in a loft, you can go and have a conversation.
That'd be great. I've never met him in person, by the way. I would love to meet the guy in person. Great guy to talk to.
See, and that's what I wanted to afford you with the gear is that, hey, if you want to go do something, you're not bound by calling me up, especially these days, because I'm so busy. And the time that you have with me, I know you value, but I want you to value it more. So
I guess it is your way of making me value my time with you, because I didn't before. So
Exactly.
Now I'm forced to. My hand is forced to appreciate the time that I spend with you here in the studio.
So the one bit of player news, the Tigers finally filled the void at shortstop. They signed Jordy Mercer. Now, when I reviewed the signing, I understood why he's cheaper than Jose Iglesias, but the problem is when you evaluate the scouting report, he's not as good defensively as Jose Iglesias, but a little bit better offensively, and he had a kind of a down year in 2018, and so again, the Tigers are going to be looking for maybe a slight improvement in getting a little bit more value out of that contract. He's not as good a player as Jose Iglesias, but I think at the price for what the Tigers offered him, I think he'll do the job. There may be a couple more defensive lapses. He may not get to as many balls as Jose Iglesias, but he'll do the job, and I think he'll be a professional. And so with that, I'm happy with the signing because obviously they could have gotten better. But I do believe that with what parameters Al Avila is working with, it's an okay signing. I give it Doc's thumb of approval. Thumbs up.
There we go. One thumb up. Okay. So they got Jordy Mercer for 1 year at $5.25 million. They got Tyson Ross, who we've previously talked about last week, I believe, on Tiger Stock, for 1 year, $5.75 million. So you can tell they're not really willing to spend a lot of money here this offseason. We already speculated that and thought that big time. So they're not going to go north of $6 million for anybody, it looks like. And if they add a reliever or two, they might to their bullpen to help out that bullpen. Well, they're not going to spend more than, I would say, $5.25 million on a reliever either. So they get a shortstop in Jordy Mercer, who is a stopgap solution, specifically at short. They recorded a WAR of .1 only last season, made 10 errors, hit .251 with a .696 OPS in 2018. Close to his career marks of a .256 batting average and a .699 OPS. So career on-base plus slugging percentage that is south of 700. You want that to be north of 700. It is not for Jordy Mercer, a former longtime Pirate who did flash some leather and quality leather in the past, but still a guy that has made, 10 errors now in back-to-back seasons? So not as flashy and as great and as quality of a defender at shortstop as Jose Iglesias was, who is, by the way, one of the best defenders at shortstop in all of baseball right now. So Mercer won't bring that quality, but I think can hit a little bit more consistently than Iglesias. But this is definitely, Doc, if you really want to slice it or, add it all up and break it down, it's a downgrade from Jose Iglesias. It's just he's cheaper, and that's why they signed Jordy Mercer.
Okay, and so you look at it and you say, you know what, in terms of what Al Avila is trying to do, was this the best candidate he could have gotten? Was there anybody in that kind of salary range maybe they could have gotten if it wasn't Mercer?
Well, I think maybe a Denny Echeverria, a guy like that, but a lot of low-tier guys that are, all glove, no bat, or a little bit of bat, no glove, like Alcides Escobar, all glove. He can't hit to save his life. Denny Echeverria is a middling guy, nothing much that would bring an upgrade either at short. He would be a downgrade as well. So realistically, they weren't looking to upgrade the position. They just went their separate ways with Jose Iglesias because they knew Jose Iglesias would want more money than they're willing to spend at that shortstop position this offseason. So Mercer, because of that, was a fit for them at shortstop.
Very well understood. What are you looking to get out of this interview with Brian Pena? What kind of things are we going to talk about?
Well, got to talk to him about winning that league championship with the Gulf Coast League, Tigers West once again, about moving up to Connecticut to coach the Connecticut Tigers at short season A-ball and how excited he is for that opportunity. And I want to ask him and pick his brain as well about what kind of manager is he and what does he learn from Jim Leland and Bobby Cox, two guys that he played for, and how has he molded his managing style after those two legendary skippers as well?
I want to thank the Legacy Football Organization and the Detroit Sports Commission for sponsoring this edition of Tiger Talk. Without great sponsors, we wouldn't be able to broadcast every single day, and we definitely want to show support for those that support the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. All right, Vito, let's get Brian Pena on the line.
And now joining us on Tiger Talk via Vito's VIP line is former Tigers backup catcher and now the manager of the Connecticut Tigers in short season A-ball with the Detroit Tigers, Brian Pena. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. God bless you all, and happy holidays.
So, Brian, you managed the Gulf Coast League Tigers West to a league championship this past season, and your first season as a coach. What was that experience like for you, and how special a feeling was that for you in your first year as a manager?
It was great. It was great. But, I still feel like I still dreaming. It was one of those seasons that we really have a lot of fun. We enjoyed, our time, down there in Lakeland. And, there is nothing that I can say, more than love, commitment, and respect for everybody who has something to do with our championship success. And, it was amazing, man. It was amazing to see how much, our younger players, they love, to play the game and represent the Detroit Tigers the way they did every single day.
Brian, can you take us through how that went down? Because you started the season with the Tigers in the minors, and then you transitioned over to coaching. How was the adjustment? And take us through how that process went down for you.
Super blessed to have such a great front office people, in the Tigers organization. Just the fact that Alavila, Ron, and obviously Dave Littlefield and Dave Owen, and Bill Dancy, they trust me. They believe in me. They gave me an opportunity that I couldn't pass. They believe in my leadership and obviously I didn't want to let them down. And they knew me. They knew that I was a guy that I was committed, 100% to make our players better. I was that guy that I was committed, to represent the Detroit Tigers, every single day in the right way. And it was an easier transition for me, because obviously I was, the Detroit Tigers. I played here before, so I know how the system, run. I knew exactly, what we represent, and it was just, let our guys play. And for me personally, it was a little confusing at the beginning, but then I was like, well, it's time for me to do what I love to do, and that's teaching, and that was exactly, why it wasn't such a difficult transition for me, because in my heart I always knew that I was going to be a coach, someday. And like I say, man, probably, for some guys, I was sooner than what they expect, But for me personally and my family, it was the right time, and we made the right decision.
Former longtime big league backstop Brian Pena on Vito's VIP line on this week's edition of Tigers Talk. And Brian, what did you learn from coaching in your lone season with the Gulf Coast League Tigers West?
A lot of people will say, well, I mean, it's just one of those things that you were playing in the big league, so going back to to a GCL, that's going to be a huge adjustments and stuff like that. But me personally, not because we won, but it wasn't that difficult for me, because like I said before, when you have that in your heart and when you are committed 100% to do what you love, and that's help our younger generations and obviously our players, our younger players, it's not that difficult. It really wasn't that difficult, for me. But I think my biggest challenge it was trying to our players, because you know how it is. You as a player, you're trying to take care of your body. You're trying to do whatever it takes, to put yourself in a position where you can help your team. You know what I mean? And you can be available, especially being a back of my entire career. But another thing is when you have to make sure that everybody else, in the ball club that you're leading, that they're healthy. They feel like, they can go out there and produce, for the team. And that was my biggest challenge. I had a great coaching staff, with, Rafael Hill, he was my hitting coach. Mike Alvarez started as a pitching coach for us, and then he moved up to Toledo. And then, we had a very nice pitching coach named Santiago, who came from AA, and he helped us a lot. And obviously Dax, he was our strength conditioning, and we had such a great time, man. We had such a great time, everybody involved, and everybody put a little bit of, of their love, and obviously we couldn't, I couldn't do it by myself. It was a totally team effort.
How excited are you for this new opportunity you have as manager of the Connecticut Tigers?
I'm excited. I'm excited because, first of all, I feel like it's going to be a lot of the players that I know, a lot of the players that I saw during, standard spring, a lot of the guys that I manage. So, it's not going to be that difficult for me get information from our players and stuff like that. And especially, just the fact that I'm gonna have an opportunity to work, with such a great, coaching staff, and I can't wait, man. I can't wait to go out there and continue to help, our younger players, and that's the goal. That's the goal. I think the goal is just to make sure that they know that we're there for them. They know that we are 100% committed to make them better. Not just on the field but off the field. And that's what the Detroit Tiger organization is all about. Especially now, you know what I mean, that we're going through that transitioning period where our homegrown talent is the one that is going to take us to a promised land. And I believe in that. And obviously I have to give a huge thank you to our scouting department, because they really did a great job, scouting, a lot of the players that we play, that they play for us. And, like I said, man, it was a totally effort, but, at the same time, I'm super happy, super excited, and I can't wait to go out there and be part of the Connecticut Tigers.
And you've spoken about getting your players better off the field, to make them into better individuals, better human beings off the field. And you've emphasized to me in the past, Brian, the importance of teaching these players the right way to represent the Tigers, both on and off the baseball diamond. What does that mean to you when it comes to teaching your players the right way to be a Tiger, both on and off the baseball field?
They have to believe that baseball is it connect, and baseball send a very healthy message. When you retire, you kind of look back and you say, you know what, I did everything in my power. You know what I mean? To put smiles and our fans, to respect the game, to respect our fans, to respect my coaches, my teammates, you guys, the media, And when you look back and you look at your career, and I was a very happy player. I was very excited. I was, very, very pleased and honored, what I mean, to represent all those baseball clubs that I play for. So at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that our guys feel, if not the same, better than the way I felt during my baseball career. And that started from the top. And that's my goal, man. My goal is just to make sure they know that coming to the baseball field is not going to be just, well, I have to go to a baseball field or I have to work. No, I want to go to a baseball field. I want to be able to learn every day. I want to be able to get better every day. And then, just getting involved with our fans, getting involved with the community, because, and a smile, and, an autograph, or a picture, something like that can change, a lot of people's life. And that's the message, that we want to send to our players, because, that's exactly what it's all about. It's all about, making sure they know that, that we are bigger than just baseball players. You know what I mean? We are put in this in a position where we can bring a lot of happiness to a lot of people, and I have to make sure, we have to make sure, what I mean, as as organization, that that's going to be a huge part of our younger generations.
You had the chance to manage Parker Meadows this past season, the Tigers' second rounder in the 2018 draft. What was it like managing him, and how good of a player can you envision him becoming in the future?
Man, I love myself some Parker. Him and I, we in such a short period, we learn so much from each other. I really, I was very impressed to see how humble, he was. Everybody knows that he was our second round pick. Everybody knows that the sky is the limit for him. And, he always kept himself, very, very humble, very down to earth. This is a player who, he was willing, to learn. He was eager, to get better. He worked hard. He never, I have to take him out of, of the lineup, because, he didn't want to get up. didn't want to come out of the lineup. So I had to sit down with them and say, you know what, this is a process. You know, you just got drafted. You know, this is just little by little. You know what I mean? And to you know, you are full ready. You know, but he was upset. He was upset because he wanted to be there every single day. You know, he wanted to play doubleheader. You know, he wanted to play extra innings. You know, he wanted to do whatever it takes to help the team to win. And you know, and that's what you want, man. That's what you want from your leader. That's what you want from your prospects. You know what I mean? Because that sends you know, the right message, not just to the other players, but it sends the right message, you know, to our organization, and especially, you know, our front office people, you know, to make sure that they did the right thing, you know, drafting a guy like him.
Former longtime big leaguer and now the manager of the Connecticut Tigers in short season A-ball, Brian Pena, on the line with us. And Brian, I wanted to ask you as well about your managing style. How would you describe your managing style and how you approach every single game?
I'm one of those guys that, you know, obviously I love running. You know, I'm one of those guys that you know, I always been a big guy, so I couldn't steal backs and stuff like that. But I always, you know, in a good way, I always envy, you know, the teams they can run. You know what I mean? Because when you run and when you're aggressive on the bases, good things happen. You put a lot of pressure on the pitchers. You put a lot of pressure on the defense. You know, and the game change when you do that. So that's my goal. You know, every time that we go out there, you know, to make sure that our guys know that it doesn't matter if you're a guy who is a fast runner or if you average or you below average, you're going to have an opportunity to run. We're going to use, you know, the wild pitch. We're going to use first and third. We're going to be aggressive, you know, around the bases. And, you know, we're going to incorporate delay steals. We're going to do, you know, whatever it takes to continue to put that pressure on the other team's defense. And that's what I like. But me personally, I'm in love with manage the bullpen. You know, I feel like bullpen is a huge part of your team success, you know, and obviously, you know, we have some restriction because of pitch counts and stuff like that with our younger players. But you know, we managed to do that very well, and that was our model. And man, it was very good for us. And I'm not gonna change. It's like you Americans say, if you ain't broke, don't fix it. You know.
There you go. And you played for two legendary skippers in your big league playing career. And Bobby Cox with the Braves, with Jim Leland when you were with the Tigers. And have you molded yourself after them at all with your managing style? How much have you molded your managing style after those two individuals?
I learned so much from everybody, you know, that I was managed by. But, you know, those two guys, man, they are special. They're special because number one thing that I learned from both of them that they have in common is like they make sure that their players know they have their back. And when your players know that, they will go through the wall, you know, for you. And that was exactly what I was trying to do, man. I did that. You know, I was making sure that our guys, they know that we as a coaching staff, we have their back. You know what I mean? We were blessed and we were excited, you know, to have that great relationship with them. You know, this is not just, you know, coaching to a player or a player to a coaching, you know what I mean, the stuff. It was just about family. It was just about we were their brothers, we were their parents, we were, you know, their best friend. And that was our goal, you know, and I learned that from them, you know, from those guys. And, man, I witnessed the way the baseball players, they answered, you know, to those, you know, managers. And that was their key, man. Their key was like, hey, guys, I'm here for you guys. I want you guys to know that I got you guys back. And man, just and that care, you know what I mean, that commitment from them, that's what I took, you know, and that's something that I told myself, hey, if I had an opportunity, you know, to manage someday, or if I had an opportunity to coach, you know, someday, you know, at any level, I'm gonna make sure that my players know that. I'm gonna make sure that my players know that I have their back no matter what. In a good time, in a bad time, I'm there for them. And man, it was beautiful. It was a great relationship. I mean, some of the guys, they will move up. You know, they went to West Michigan, they went to Lakeland, they went to Connecticut, and we are still in touch. they will call me. They will send me text message. Hey, we're rooting for you guys. We appreciate everything that you and your coaches did for us. And that's what you want, man. That's what you want. That's the beauty of the game. And that's what the Detroit Tigers organization is all about. We are family, and and it's something that is beautiful, man.
And the players would respond to Bobby Cox getting on them, to Jim Leland getting on them. So I guess you learned from those two, as you said, as you put it, and those players respected those guys, and it seems like everybody that has gotten to know you, Brian, including us here at the Detroit Sports Podcast Network, has respected you. You're a great man.
I appreciate you guys, man. I really do. I really appreciate you guys. You guys always been great to me and my family, and I have, mad respect for what you guys do. It's all about, respect, and it's all about, showing, out there that, we're just bigger than baseball player. We're bigger than the Detroit Tigers organization. You know what I mean? It's like I say, man, we're bigger than that because we really represent a lot. That mutual respect, it goes a long way, man.
Thank you for all the time, Brian. It really is a family on and off the field. And I think we've noticed that even doing a podcast here at the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. And with that, it was a pleasure speaking with you as usual, and happy holidays to you and yours.
Hey, thank you guys again. I'm very, very, very excited, to be part of our future here, with the Detroit Tigers organization, and to the fans. You know what I mean? We are building something great. We are building greatness. You know what I mean? Don't get too excited, about, when it's going to be and stuff like that. Be real. Be real. We are building something special here, and your excitement is going to be beyond, 100%, because, the future is bright, and we love, our scouting department. They've been doing such a great job, and our coaching staff, develop our players, and there's nothing better to see our homegrown, players in the big league Sunday and producing for us. Thank you, guys. God bless you, and God bless, everybody, and God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world and world peace, and I love it, and I'm excited and I'm happy, and thank you for having me, and make sure that I share, this happiness with everybody.
God bless you too. Best of luck to you at Connecticut, and best of luck to you moving forward, Brian. We'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day, man.
You guys.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
You too.
And that was Brian Pena, who has been a frequent guest now, a friend of the podcast network. He loves us. We love him. God bless him. He's always such a nice individual. And Merry Christmas to him and his family, and Happy New Year as well, Doc.
Fully enjoyed it. Let's take a time out. We'll come back, and we'll finish the podcast talking about some news that was made by Rod Allen, and the search continues for their replacement. Mario and Rod both have made statements, and we'll come back. We'll finish out the podcast and discuss what might happen in the future, because some people that have been tied locally to the job aren't interested. We'll be back on this edition of Tigers Talk in just a second.
And Doc, as you know, our two sponsors for Tigers Talk are Legacy Football and the Detroit Sports Commission. And first and foremost, to our newest sponsor in Legacy Football, which was founded in 2009. It is their premier off-season development program in the state of Michigan, in the Midwest, and in the entire U.S. of A. It provides unique platforms for student-athletes on and off the football field through community service, social awareness, education, and football. And Legacy Football features a staff of former collegiate stars and NFL players, such as a legendary Lions wide receiver Herman Moore, and a past guest on our podcast, Two Bad Hombres, and a former MSU star linebacker, a three-time All-American linebacker, and a Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants in 2011 in Greg Jones. And to find out more about all of the things, all of the events that Legacy Football is putting on and putting together this year and in the new year, please contact National Director of Football Ops for Legacy Football, Justin Sassante, another past guest on Two Bad Hombres, or go online to Legacy Football's great website at www.legacyfootballorg.com. And now to our other sponsor of Tigers Talk in the Detroit Sports Commission. And we can talk endlessly about all the love and respect that we have received over the years from the director of the Detroit Sports Commission, Chris Smith, and Marty Dobeck, the PR expert there at the Detroit Sports Commission. And they have put on all of these great events, marquee events, you could say, and definitely you can say, on both the national and international level since 2001 now. And one of the fine events they have put on in recent memory and over the years now is the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic, the finest and premier kickoff event for prep football in the Midwest and in the United states. And to find out more about all of the events that the Detroit Sports Commission is bringing to our very region, once again, that is the Metro Detroit area, please follow the DSC on Twitter and on Instagram at DET Sports, and make sure to check out the Sports Commission's terrific website at DetroitSports.org. And back here on Tigers Talk with Chirco and Company, and it's hard to match the energy that Brian Pena brought there, but man, he brings the energy. He has so much to talk about. Always a pleasure speaking with him once again. And now he's a manager of the Connecticut Tigers, the single A. Now it's the short season A-ball affiliate of the Detroit Tigers specifically.
Very good. I do think Brian Pena has a future because a guy like that seems relatable. Seems like he can get his message across.
Yep.
And I do think that his players, at the very least, are going to be passionate and they're going to be running.
Oh, running through a brick wall for him. And he wants to run. He wants to be aggressive. He preached aggressiveness and representing the Tigers the right way, both on and off the baseball diamond. And he talked all about that, about what he meant regarding that ad nauseum during our segment, which you can listen to just by rewinding this episode a little bit, Doc.
And you can follow Brian on Twitter at Cuban2727. He brings the energy there on social media as well. A great guy, too. Again, at Cuban2727. Brian Pena, hopefully a bright future being a manager.
Former longtime catcher, played for Bobby Cox, played for Jim Leland, had to pick his brain a little bit about what he's taken from those guys and adapted for his managing style. And once again, it sounds like that guy demands respect and gets it from his players, and they want to run through a brick wall for him, definitely, Doc.
So I'm curious to get your reaction. What'd you make of Rod Allen kind of coming out and saying, look, guys, what's been portrayed in the media isn't exactly true. And so obviously in a situation like this, both Mario Impemba and Rod Allen have come out and said, look, obviously the way that we were let go is not favorable. Obviously, we both wanted to continue. They spent well over a decade and a half covering the Detroit Tigers, and unfortunately, because of their incident, for those that don't recall, there was an incident with a chair. Now, who got physical with who is going to be the debate. It's going to be, what happened in terms of this chair, this mystical chair that both guys were arguing about. And unfortunately, it spilled over, and somebody saw it. Somebody had to have discussed what they saw. And maybe, the point of contention is going to be who was the aggressor, who started this, who made this a situation that, escalated. But all in all, like I said, you give some, I take some, and back and forth, but we never crossed the line or anything like that. If you dared to pick up a chair and throw it at me, Vito, you're getting power bombed wherever you go. So I just think that, when you work with somebody, even if we worked together 15 years, I don't think that...
I could do that. You would do that to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Put each other's hands on the other.
Or wrestle around. It's kind of odd. Especially, Vito, when you saw their salaries, they were making over 6 figures each.
Yeah, deal with each other. Suck it up. Be professional. Be men. You're grown men. Act like it.
You know what? I don't even think they would have got fired if they just cussed each other out. Like, look, you turn around and go, give me that fucking chair back.
Off the air.
That's
do
it.
it like that. Professionally.
Don't you
not
dare
professional,
touch fucking chair.
But don't put your hands on somebody's on their neck. Supposedly, what, strangulation? You could have strangled the guy and killed him? Come on. Let's not do that. And it's not professional,
but early on,
man.
Are you getting the sense, kind of, that more people are favoring Mario than Rod based upon how the portrayal has gone? And things like that?
It's based on the media portrayal, but I got to believe the media is reporting this because it's true. They're not going to just make it up. Why would they make up this story? What are this going to do for the media? Now, you might believe in fake news. I don't. See, I'm a journalist, though, or a so-called journalist still. So I'm going to take the side of the media and the journalists out there that reported this story, The Athletic and other news outlets and entities in the local Metro Detroit area. So I got to believe that, Rod Allen was more in the wrong because he's the guy that placed his 2 hands on Mario Impemba's neck over a chair of all things. So Rod Allen looks foolish, and I don't even know if he's going to end up getting another job as a broadcaster for a Major League Baseball club. Nor do I think he should. I don't think he warrants another job because of what he did.
It's risky, and it's a situation in which having control is so important. But look, they spent over 15 years together, and by all accounts, they didn't like each other.
No.
162 games is a long time to
and
spend.
to not like each other and to hide it as well as they did, because they disguised it for a long, long time.
I mean, they could have actually sat further apart from the broadcast. They could have made it happen.
Probably would have loved to have done that.
But they had interventions. Fox Sports Detroit tried their best to make the relationship work. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. So what a fascinating look at a relationship, a working relationship. But obviously it ended badly. So now the search continues, and we still don't have a replacement. And I think a local guy that might have been tied to the job kind of said, I might not be interested. I might be interested in taking other jobs. who was that, and what are you hearing, Vito, about who may be the Tigers television crew next year?
Well, Joe Davis is a guy that turned it down. He calls Dodgers games now. Really took the place of Vince Scully, who called Dodgers games by himself, which is so impressive for many, many years. Since I don't even know when, way before I was born, way before you were born even, Doc. So Joe Davis is now deemed pretty much as the heir apparent to Joe Buck as the Major League Baseball play-by-play man, too. Their number one guy of the future at Fox.
Oh.
So people are thinking that, have been saying that, speculating that for a while. So Joe Davis doesn't need the Tigers gig. Why would he come to Motown? Now, it's back to where he lived, but he has his family in L.A. You're in beautiful L.A., warm climate. I mean, why would you move from L.A., uproot your family to move to Detroit? I wouldn't be doing it myself if I was calling Dodgers games. No need for it, in my opinion.
Okay. Any news about who may take the job? I mean, right now, early on, some of the beat writers are saying more of the same. Matt Shepard, Kirk Gibson, Jack Morris. And I hear that and I go, that'd be okay, but just doesn't seem to ring the bell of, like, sexiness. It's kind of like,
Old standbys. Dull. Gibson, dull. Jack Morris has been rumored now, who wasn't calling games last year, but did the year before, along with Gibson and Rod Allen. He's dull. And they're oldies. Maybe they're oldies but goodies, but they bring the old school mentality and philosophies and analysis, and I want some new school and energy brought in the broadcast booth. Kirk Gibson and Jack Morris don't bring that whatsoever, especially Gibby, who has some knowledge. They both do. I'm not going to deny that they're competent individuals when it comes to baseball knowledge. So I'm not going to diss them for their baseball acumen. But could you do better? Yeah. I want some more energy out of my broadcast booth, out of my color commentator, out of my play-by-play man.
Okay, here's a chance for us to end the podcast on a fun note. Here's your live audition, Vito. It's going to go out to the worldwide audience. I want you to call a game-winning home run by Daz Cameron, okay? He's going to be, the Tigers are down 1, 9th inning, 2 outs, and the Tigers are playing the Red Sox in their vaunted closer, and it's 2-1, and it's bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, and Daz Cameron's up to plate, launches it out to center at the furthest part of Comerica Park, okay? So I'm going to get the video out, and this is going to go out worldwide. Maybe someone sees this, maybe not the Tigers, maybe with...
Tigers won't be checking it out.
Maybe,
anyways, yeah.
Maybe with the Pacoima Pelicans, you maybe get a phone
Whatever
call.
the hell that is. Make that up on the fly, right? Good job.
So, here we go. Let's do this. All right, here we go. Bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, Daz Cameron versus Boston. Take me through it.
The 21-year-old right-hander in a crucial moment here in the 9th inning with all on the line for the Tigers. Can he execute with a long ball or a game-winning hit here? Well, here we go. Craig Kimbrell looking to deliver. Winds up. Throws it. Daz Cameron unloads one. It is going way out of here. Long gone. A huge home run hit by Mr. Daz Cameron, the 21-year-old, looking excellent with that swing, hitting it to deep right center field. Impressive there out of a 21-year-old, a guy that's younger than me even, in Daz Cameron.
Vito! Holy cow, are you kidding me? That was good.
I'm not a play-by-play guy, a little bit lackluster. I could make up some stuff. Trying to think of stuff on the fly,
Oh, my goodness. All right, you know what? I'm going to turn the tables, and we'll end it by me maybe trying the same thing. So it's Craig Kimbrell is the closer. Is he still on the team with the Red Sox right now?
Free agent, though, anyways.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, we'll still have him there anyway.
Yeah.
So it'll be Daz Cameron, bottom of the 9th, and we'll try it, okay?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Let's see if we can get this done right. Just tell me when you're shooting. You got my good side?
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
All right, tell me when you hit record. All right, everybody. Bottom of the 9th. The Tigers have hung in this one. The Tigers are down 2-1, and Craig Kimbrell is on the mound. He's been dominating the Tigers. He's had 8 successful saves in his last 8 opportunities versus the Tigers. Daz Cameron steps to the plate. Tigers down 2-1. 2 runners on. Vito, I do think there's a chance for Daz to be the hero here tonight. The Tigers, mired in an 8-game losing streak, really need this victory. Okay, here we go. It's Daz Cameron versus Kimbrell. Oh, my God! He laces into one. It was a fastball, 94 miles an hour. Daz, deep. Yeah, motherfucker! You did it!
Go, baby!
I did it! He did it! Yeah, motherfucker! He got the victory! Oh, you're not allowed to cuss? Okay, never mind.
Oops, you're out. See ya.
Well, Vito, the Tigers have lost 8 games, but they were able to come back in this one. What an exciting game. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was all right. We both did all right at best.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why you wanted to cuss there.
Yeah.
But you wanted to bring the energy, and then you dropped some expletives. So
Exactly.
you're really showcasing your energy.
Exactly.
To the highest extent. Well, you got fired anyway. So your audition, you didn't even get a second chance. You probably would have gotten fired without even having a job. You would have been just told to go home right away after that one. But at least you brought some energy. Got to give you that much. I tried to. It was hard for me to fake it there. Sorry.
All right,
when I know I'm not really auditioning for anything. But
great podcast recording. Had some fun. I think my audition was a little bit better than yours.
A little bit better, besides for the cussing aspect of it, which blew your audition in the end. But anyways, you tried. And speaking of just bringing energy, flat out energy, Brian Pena once again, big thanks to him. Happy holidays to all of you out there, and Merry Christmas, as the next recording of Tigers Talk once again will be after Christmas Day.
Peace.
Adios.